Uh-oh.
Sorry, that was me. I forgot to resume the recording.
Okay. So this rupture and fear is an opportunity to find out what we care about and to change. It's an acknowledgement of what's happening right now, where we're living, the time we're living in, the unprecedented times, and our deep care. To try and remember, we're not completely disempowered. It doesn't have to be that way. It feels overwhelming and that's real, but it's like these feelings are manageable and they're mentionable. And if you want to write any kind of intention there, you can, but I just really want you to get to feel a little calm and a little in touch with what you want to do, what you wish you could do, what you care about. You have about 1 more minute to fill in anything you need to make this space a calm space. You have about 20 seconds left. Okay. All right, now I'll look at this. Are you so happy? It's a grid. All right, somewhere either on the same piece of paper or another piece of paper, just make a little 4-panel grid. So the idea that, fear is an opportunity to notice, to find out what you care about and what you want to change. I want you to write in this first box, what or who do you care about? Like based on the news that's happening right now, based on the things that are troubling you or freaking you out or making you feel a big feeling. And this could be groups, this could be a political thing that does apply to you or that applies to other people you care about. So what or who do you care about? So, I care about trans people, trans kids. I care about people in Gaza. It could be whatever you want. It could be something that applies to you, it could be something that applies to people you love, or a group that you don't know. I care about people who are attempting to enter America being treated well. You care about immigrants. Whatever we'll just spend a couple minutes, right? I would write it here. If you want to draw them, you can, but I need it to be like, I need you to be able to tell in a week when you pick this up what it says. We have about a minute left. Cram as many as you can, or just go deeper on these ones. Who affected by the news do you care about? Do you realize that you would like to protect? Okay, I want you to choose between 1 and 3 of these. And I want you to think, if you know, who do you know of that is working to protect these people or this space already? What organizations already exist? If you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to protect trans kids, you don't have to start from scratch. Are there other groups that you know of or that you can conceive of that are already working on this? It could be as big as like the ACLU. It could be as direct as my local LGBT center. Like, who's already doing this work? If you can think of anyone who's already doing this work, from 1 to 3 of these things you care about, who is it? Who's already doing this work? And I want to know, can you just plug into that to help them? So you can just think like, okay, what are some places I've heard of who are already helping these people that I care about? You don't need to start from scratch. You're not alone on the smaller level and you're not alone on a bigger level. Can you help them? And also, can you set an intention this week of reaching out to see how you can help them? And it doesn't have to be nonprofits. It could be like a food fridge in your neighborhood. Okay, I have about 20 seconds left for that. And, circle one of these that you care about the most, that feels like an easy enough lift for you that you could reach out to this week. Like, oh yeah, this place is close to me. I could call them this week. All right, and the bottom left and the bottom right are related. And then I promise after these lists, we'll do a drawing. The bottom left, what do you have to give? What do you have to offer them? So I want you to think, do you have, there's a thing like Instagram, I think, because it's making us all passive consumers. It makes us think that all we have is attention, economy, and money. It makes us think like, well, I guess all I have to give is money. I guess all I have to give is sharing a post. Let's go above and beyond. Like if literally you're just like, you're the monopoly man and that's all you have to offer, like I'm giving millions of dollars to these mutual aid funds, great. But let's try to go further. So what do you have to offer? What feels comfortable? So do you have money? Do you have time? Like time to volunteer, time to make phone calls? Do you have space? Could people have meetings at your house? Do you have a skill? Like you're like, oh, I'm great at making signs. Oh,
Hey, Nicole,
yeah.
Yesha asks, what if you're so overwhelmed with your daily life that you feel you can't do anything?
I don't think it's true you can't do anything. I want you to think, what can you do? I want us to not focus on the other thing. So just like, what? I don't know. I think just think on it for a minute. Just think of what would be what are things that you can do to build your capacity so that you have a daily life, you're responsible with, your life and the people who love you, who rely on you. You're, housed, fed, your mental health is where it needs to be. What do you need to do to be grounded in that? And then how can you build a little capacity? So there's just a little bit you can do. And if you can't, you can't, but that maybe is not in my jurisdiction to talk you through, because I am a cartoonist leading you through a workshop, trying to figure out what you can do. And there's no shame in any of this, but I'd want us to not sit in the moment. I don't want us to sit in a disempowered space. I want us to sit in a space of like, okay, maybe what could happen, and it maybe doesn't have to happen, or it might be like a long shot, but I don't want us to be in a shame space, because there's space for all of us in this. And it might even be you reaching out to people you love and saying, I need help, and just like really firming up those relationships. So what do you have to give that feels comfortable? Money, time, space, a skill. You're like, oh, I'm like wonderful at making go bags, or like I'm great at internet research, or, like I'm like, my partner is a tech wizard, or I like, honestly could be like, oh, I know acupuncture, I give massages, or like I know the compounds to make hormones at home. Or like, oh, I could go to the doctor and just request some extra hormones that are secretly not for me to give to someone who needs those hormones, so that, their life can stay intact. Like, it could be a lot of different things. And I'm not suggesting anyone do anything that's not completely legal. I'm just telling you what someone could write on this if they wanted to. Yeah. So after you do that, I want you to think, okay, I want you to look at this list, and then I want you to think, based on this moment, based on the stories you've told yourself about what you do have to offer, I want to know what would happen what would it feel like to stretch yourself? Is there a little bit more you could offer? And that's what's going to go in this bottom right. If you thought of yourself, if you thought of this as a crucial moment where you had to tap into courage and where you had to stretch yourself, what could you offer? Do you have the kind of job where you might have to break rules? If you had to break rules, or if you had to be more courageous than you were 8 years ago, if you had to stretch yourself a little bit more in other ways, that maybe, like, if you take an assessment of yourself and your privileges too, if you're like, oh, I'm a white person, I'm a cisgendered person, I have like legal status in this way or that way, can I just put that down, like, oh, that privilege is something I could share. Maybe I'm going to figure out how I could share that privilege or use that privilege. There's a lot of ways that we can all be helpful to each other. It's not just you showing up on the front lines, but it could be, if you do have that. Could you get arrested? Is that something, like, could you go to an action? Do you have a flexible schedule? You could leave work in the middle of the day and go like shut down a highway to block ICE. Could you? That's a question. I'm not saying everybody has to do that. But if you have that capacity, just if it's a possibility, write it down. And maybe some of these things, it's the seed is the intention. And it's like, this is what I would like to do. This is actually what I could do. I don't know if I'm courageous enough to do this right now, but it's something that exists, that could happen, that like wouldn't completely ruin my life. Like, it might make my life a little uncomfortable. And do I have the privilege and capacity to hold that discomfort on behalf of other people who don't have that privilege? There's consequences people bear for those who can't. And so we are made up of a group of people with different resources and risks. And so you can take stock of what resources you do have access to that others do not, and think like, how could I share those resources? And we all have different things, so there's no shame if you have a different skill or a different ability. And get creative, you know? Me in the apocalypse in my neighborhood, I feel a little worthless because like I'm not gonna like build a boat. No solar panel, know anything about solar panels. I don't have a bunch of water saved up, but I am friends with everyone in my neighborhood. I am friendly with all the people in my neighborhood. And so I can get us all together. I can make signs. I'm willing to do a lot of things, but think like, even as much as like, oh, I take a walk with my senior citizen neighbors every day. So I know everyone. So if I see an ambulance going to their house, if I see something happening there, I can be of service. I can run to them. It doesn't have to be that I like built a shack for everyone to live in. There could be other purposes for me. Oh, I'm a food hoarder. I have tons of Trader Joe's trail mix. I'm bringing that to the shack. It could be big, it could be small. Okay, the last.
There's a lot of great brainstorming going on in chat.
Oh my God, I'm psyched. I can't look at it right now.
I know you can't. I just want to let you know. Yeah.
Can you tell me a couple out loud?
Oh gosh, so many. Eli said, I can't get arrested and I want to protest so badly, but I can make awesome signs and I can help pack supplies for people who are going to be out all day. A lot of people were responding to Yesha feeling overwhelmed. Nicole says, I believe working on taking care of yourself can be enough of a thing to do so you can show up for the people in your life as your best self. And a lot of practical things. I'll save the chat in a text so you can look at it.
Thank you.
Later.
I mean, there's other things too. You know, it's like you could be jail support. You could be someone that's like calling to like harass. If other people can't, you know, you can look up, what does that mean, jail support? What does mutual aid mean? You could look up, oh, if other people can get arrested, how can I support them from the outside, just like on my lunch break, calling and bothering? Am I good at bothering people? If this was about Delta Airlines giving me a refund, what would I be willing to do? Okay, well, maybe there's somebody who's in a really uncomfortable position and I have that Karen energy. Let me just use that Karen voice and that energy of getting a refund, and let me try to help that person get released on their own recognizance a little bit quicker. Okay, the next thing I want you to do, the last thing I want you to do is a thought experiment. Let's do it on our own first, and then if you want to plug them into the chat, please do. I want you to think of someone from history that you feel inspired by, a person or a movement. Some examples I have are like the senior lesbians from JVP who got arrested in DC. Yes, I am so into them. The Black Panther Party creating the school lunch program, the breakfast program, like giving kids in their city free breakfast. I love that. Representative John Lewis, his entire life, he's one of the bravest people. Like, I want you to think of a person or a movement, it could be from now or from the past, who you find inspiring. Just think about it for a second, and then you can put it in the chat. All right, put it in the chat. Who are you thinking of? Who feels inspiring to you? It could be something big or small, but someone from a political movement, not just like, you know, this person on TikTok's really good at braiding her hair. Maybe like somebody from a political movement over time. Who are we hearing about in the chat?
Oh my gosh, Nelson Mandela, Cesar Chavez, Bishop Bud, David Hogg from the Parkland Studios, Dolores Huerta, Martin Luther King, the Braveheart guy in Hawkeye, Last of the Mohicans, George Carlin, Fred Rogers, Jane Goodall, Jasmine Crockett, the suffragettes movement, Woody Guthrie, Edo Rodriguez, AOC, Oliver Sacks, It's an avalanche, Nicole.
This is great. Okay, let's pause on the avalanche. Good job, everybody. Good job. Okay, I want us to look at what's it like to be permeated by inspiration from others? What does it feel like? So let's take a moment and your last drawing, and we can take, let's say, like 5 or 6 minutes. I want you to draw them with you, giving you a pep talk to build your courage to meet this moment. I want you to draw your person, or if you found another one on that list, and this is to the best of your ability. You don't have to show it to them. You don't have to worry if you're like, that doesn't look like Martin Luther King. It's okay. Just do your very best. You don't have to Google them. Don't get in a rabbit hole of, you don't need that, but you can draw a representation of them, whoever they are. And I want you to draw them with you. And after you've drawn them with you, have them tell you something you need to hear to build your courage to meet this moment. We're going to have to be courageous. I want to see what it would feel like if you had more capacity than you originally imagined. Mm. Oops. Okay. And I want you to remember, these were all just human beings. These aren't people who were raised to be activists from birth. These were people who were moved by courage in a moment to speak up or actually do something about something they really cared about. They're not different than you. They're not more special than you. They weren't born for this any more than you were. They were just moved by what was happening there in big and small ways. And you might be looking at something that happened for them over a lifetime, but it had to start somewhere. And how can you get the courage to try and get there too? Really important in this moment to not hide in a hole. It's really important to stay connected to other people in real life. Don't let the internet isolate you. Don't let your own stories about yourself isolate you. Even if the things you have to offer are different or not the things that you wish, they just are what they are, and you're still really important to this movement. All right, let's spend about 1 more minute with your drawing. As you're finishing your drawing, I'm going to read you something so you can start adding if you want to add some shading or something. I was talking to my friend Dean Spade, and I'm going to put a link to his mutual aid workshop in the comments. But I was talking to him about when I feel like overwhelming despair about humanity or humans, or I feel like overwhelmed and I start to think like, oh, let's just toss out the whole thing. Like humans are so destructive. It's really hard to like want to be in collective with all of humanity. And, I was like, what do you do when you feel that despair about humanity and what's happening? And you just feel like things are rotten. And he says, humans didn't cause the current crisis, states did. The creation of states where a small group of elites dominates and extracts from everyone else is new in human history and has caused war and ecological crisis. Ordinary people have resisted this forever, resisted borders, wars, pollution, forced labor, but right now states dominate the earth. So just like you never consented to your government sending arms around the world, we don't need to identify with these governments. They aren't us. We humans have resisted these things at every pass, and we can continue to. And you are part of that. You don't have to have one specific role to be part of that. You can do tiny things. You can connect with people in lots and lots of ways. And you can be helpful in lots and lots of ways. I'm going to put his mutual aid workshop coming up in there. I'm going to put something called the Detention Watch Network. I'm putting, is there some groups that he sent me that people can plug into? Okay. Now it's time for us to share whatever we want to share. Thank you, everybody, for doing your drawings.
Thank you, Nicole. So if you just raise your Zoom hand, we'll spotlight people in the order.
And I would love to see, who did you choose and what are they telling you? Or if you have any other ideas for us.
I see Ellen first.
Yes. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, I didn't ask you to unmute. God, I'm so rusty at this. I have to highlight you and then ask to unmute. Hi, Ellen. Did you unmute?
One more time.
Try this one more time. You should see a little prompt. There we are.
Yes,
Okay, that's
Alan.
great. I clicked that before. Okay, sorry. Wasn't expecting to go first. I normally do mine on the computer. I didn't today because I'm visiting at my parents' place. My niece has a performance tonight, and I figured if I went down there afterward, I might not make it in time. And I brought a portable tablet to do it on my computer here, and realized I never actually installed the drivers to my tablet on my new laptop. Fortunately, I did have a drawing tablet with me, so today is something a little different. I actually used a tablet, and the lighting is terrible here. I apologize. So normally do it on my computer. Today is an exception. So just be quick, random. Okay, first, not very interesting. Reaction to the news. I won't say exactly which piece of news this was because there are a lot of them that would fit the bill. But one particular, my reaction was just like, oh my gosh, like something seemed to be going positively, and then no, now it's going in the complete worst possible direction again. So more, I guess, just frustration than. Uh, else. And I don't really know how to be calm about that other than just focusing and trying to be calm, I guess. So that's, I don't know. This particular bit of news doesn't affect anyone. Well, okay, I'll say exactly which bit of news I thought of was just, as you mentioned, the Gaza, the fact that now Trump is wanting to evict everyone from Gaza and take it over as part of the US. Just, oh my gosh, this.
Yeah.
But again, doesn't directly affect anyone I know, so there's no one to protect, but still very dismaying. So I don't know how to be calm about it other than just trying to be calm. Um, okay, the next is kind of just a random text again, nothing that interesting to see here. I don't really know what I can do because I don't have the money to spare, I don't have time. I have been doing a little bit of volunteering with the like with the DSA. I volunteered to help with a website for them, although it ended up not being necessary. But I honestly don't have that much to spare. Although the one thing, I don't know if you can read this, but it's not that interesting anyway. The one thing I did realize I could kind of be doing more of is I could be doing more to try to contact representatives and put pressure on them. I haven't really been doing that, and that's maybe one thing I can do. And as far as the person from history, this is kind of a weird choice, honestly. And part of the reason I chose this was just because just a memory from high school. In high school history class, we were doing a mock presidential election, and I was assigned to of a real historical election, and we were assigned different candidates, and I was assigned a particular candidate to research, and realized as I was researching him that, this guy had a lot of really good ideas, and since then that's the more, and he's actually so not that well known, or maybe he is well known, and I'm just historically ignorant, so I don't know as much about him as I should. I probably won't recognize him because I'm bad at drawing people, but it's actually supposed to be he was instrumental in the early labor movement because honestly, I think a lot of the problems in the world right now, not all of them, but a lot of them are just due to big companies running amok. So weird, obscure choice, but again, partially because of that high school memory, partially because of the problem big companies are causing right now. Eugene V. Debs, who was an early socialist and labor movement, ended up going to jail because of his standing up against companies and the government so much. Um, and I don't know what advice he would give me, so I don't know if this makes sense, but I just have him saying, if you don't know what you can do, find out. So
Hmm.
I don't know. So that's what I
Thank
am.
you.
So,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alan.
Can
I
we hear
see.
from Pri?
so, oops. Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Free would need to come on camera.
Hi, I'm on
Hi.
camera. Hello. Um, I wanted to share two drawings. I wanted to share the first one that we did. I'm in a Twilight Facebook group, and I used to be like big time Twilight fan when I was a teen. I'm like in my 30s now, but that group like gives me the will to live every day. So I made me in the middle, and then I'm cuddling with Jacob and Edward. And then that's my friend and their role later and my sibling. My dog looks really weird. And that's my half sister on the other side. I didn't end up filling it in because I was busy drawing Edward and Jacob, but I wanted to share that.
Mhm.
And I wanted to share, um, I didn't end up drawing individual people, but I did sorry, my camera. I did me doing reps at the gym, and then like my inspiration people are like helping me spot. They're the little heads in the back. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to share that. Thank you. And
Thank
thanks for the
you.
workshop, Nicole. Thank you,
Yeah,
Saw.
I see Judith next.
We gotta unmute you.
We go.
Yeah.
Hi, okay. Well, I am somebody who is actually lives near Gaza. And my person that I most admire is Vivian Silver, who founded an organization called Women Wage Peace, which actually was just recently nominated for a Nobel Prize. And she was burned to death in the safe room of her house by Hamas terrorists, and had served for years her Palestinian and Gazan neighbors. So I would like to say, although Tom usually keeps a tight rein on political conversation in these events, that if you continually say, I feel sorry for the people of Gaza, and you do not mention anything about the hostages or the people in Israel who are equally displaced or hurt, it feels a little unconscious. I don't think you deliberately meant to do that, but you have to really remember that this is an international group, and not everybody comes from where you live and sees things the way you do.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
Thank you, Judith. I see Jim next.
Hi. I just want to show a drawing of me talking to Jean Manford. So Jean Manford is the woman who founded PFLAG, and PFLAG, of course, provides support for parents, friends of LGBTQIA plus folks. And here she's saying to me basically, I love my son so much that I was willing to march with him at a time when it was considered crazy to do so. So that was New York City in the, I think, the 70s or 80s. But anyway, she's an inspiration.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Jen. So nice to
Jen.
hear about her.
I see Rosa next.
Hi, this is my first time here and I would like to thank you for this meetup, I guess. And because I live in Puerto Rico, our problems are like joined at your problems, but different from your problems.
Yeah.
And I wanted to highlight that we have a feminist group here that is working very closely with the Dominican community in San Juan, who is being accosted by ICE right now. And this class made me realize that I know the people that are working directly with communities and that I can do much more. So thank you for that. So I did this little drawing talking to the leader of the feminist group, and hopefully I'll get in touch with them. And anyway, thank you so much.
I'm so pleased to hear that. And anybody, if there's organizations you thought about that you want to put in the chat, I'm sure that some of us are like looking for organizations we could connect with too and support in different ways from different places. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosa. I see Edna next.
Oh, yeah. Hi, can I share my screen?
In a moment.
Uh,
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you for doing this. And I just want to share some quick drawings I did on my program. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. Okay, so this is the first one, my reaction, being really frustrated about everything. I grew up in a military family, and anyway, just everything. My father worked at the White House when I was born. So that gives you an idea how strongly I feel about everything that's going on. And I'm BIPOC. So, and then how I feel about coming together and our friends and coming together as Americans and non-Americans and just everybody, and my admiration for AOC, holding hands with everybody and just making things happen, being proactive.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Love seeing those.
I see Andrea, but I need you to come on camera. So, oh, wait. Oh, there you are.
Is that working?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see, just a couple of pictures. This is the series of moods and feelings I go through when I pretty much daily when I hear the news about our federal government. So you can see kind of screwing up my face and going, wait, what exactly? Then no, then like being ready to assume a fetal position and hide under my bed, then wanting to stand up and protest, then over and over again with the next item ad infinitum. All the groups that I mentioned are the local ones I'm connected with in my town. But here's one more picture because I've been particularly mad at how things are going in Congress. I drew a picture of Shirley Chisholm, reminding me to be unbought and especially unbossed.
Yes, I love her. Thank you.
Thank you.
She's also really fun to draw.
Yes, love the glasses.
With her
I do,
iconic hair,
Andrea.
glasses, and
And the hair.
gap in her teeth.
And the very prim and elegant outfits.
I see Lucas next. Are you
I see.
getting the unmute prompt, Lucas? Cool.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
First of all, I drew all of my people and I realized that almost all of them have glasses, which I like. The one about the feelings one, I don't often get mad, and actually I kind of resist drawing anger that much in comics. I don't know why it's so blurry.
Because you have a lighting setting on in your options, and that makes it hard to see
Okay, well there we go.
That looks good. That looks good.
Oh, for a second it was, yeah, I probably some sort of portrait thing. Anyway, I'm just so mad, so I just kind of went with drawing some madness, and mostly just you know, everything, and then just trying to pick one thing for this was just my little trans kids, and all the invasions of both trans and non-trans young, you know, mostly women and femmes, for the invasions of their privacy that are coming, and that will be shutting them out of things. And then for the person, I've always really admired this Canadian activist, Anne Hansen. This is not going to work well, but basically she was in a group against nuclear weapons in the 80s in Canada, and they bombed a factory that was making parts, and she was a strong proponent of direct action. I admire her. I cannot put myself in that level of risk. She went to prison for a long time, but she said when people themselves resort to violence to protect their community from racist attacks or to protect their environment from ecological destruction, they are taking direct action.
Thanks, Lucas. Nice to see you.
Lucas.
You?
Send me those drawings.
Bonnie, do you see the little unmute prompt?
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just share my final one, which is it's another one of those silly light things. Let's see. Okay.
Oh my God.
Part
So
of it.
cute.
And so like one of the things that I'm really trying to do is make protests more fun and joyful. And so I'm really interested in how music can help people just have more fun at events, and like art as well. But yeah, I think AOC said in an interview, I guess she was talking to Jon Stewart, and she said something that she thinks our left or our alternative view really lacks compared to Latin America is joy, and how joy is what attracts people to movements. And so even in scary times, you know, like I look to Woody Guthrie, Pete Seeger, Malvina Reynolds. Yeah, and I think that we have to be joyful as well in all this. But this has been really healing to just even draw all this stuff tonight. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, make things seem fun and attractive. I love young people having snacks for everybody at protests. I'm like, oh my God, great. Everyone, there's free snacks there. Just go.
Thank you, Bonnie. I see Chelsea up next.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, so I drew myself with my family, my parents over here, my husband, cat, and my friends, feeling just overwhelmed with everything coming in, happening in the US with executive overreach, GOP being spineless. I'm sorry, I may get a little political here. And the lawlessness that can come from that. My happy zone is in nature, because I look out the window and those birds don't give a shit what's going on, and it's kind of refreshing to look at nature and go, okay, it's a little grounding, and I care a lot about nature. And you know, I feel like I need to do something, so I have been really involved with local politics and the city and state level, and letting my friends know what's going on. I think my reps are sick of hearing from me at this point, but I need to do something. What I could do more of is probably in person, which terrifies me because I'm very socially shy. But that's pushing myself beyond. And, you know, look, I know my camera's a little blurry here. Every politician, you know, no one has a 100% perfect rate, but I really was inspired by Obama during his time in office. There's a lot of initiatives he did that I really liked. And then when he left, I wrote a letter to him just saying, hey, I really appreciate everything he did. And he wrote back and said, keep that forward. Yeah, keep that hope going forward, you know, and that's what I need to hear is like, don't give up. There's still hope, and to fight. You know, my brother lost his life for this country, and I just can't give up on it for that reason.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Chelsea. I see Christian next and then Linda. Christian, I need you to come on camera.
Beautiful owl face.
All right, we'll jump to Linda.
Hi, Linda.
I'm a person with the lady that just spoke the last one. Well, I made a picture where I'm frustrated too with all that's going on, and my daughters is what picks me up, and I want peace and everything. And holding hands together.
I love that last drawing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Jill,
Hello.
you come on camera. There you are.
Hi. I drew well, I did the list thing. And from my list I chose in the second panel from people that I guess I'm kind of inspired by the work that they're doing. Is Jasmine Crockett. She's like the Democrat who's been speaking at protests in DC right now. And so I drew her for my final photo, speaking like as if I was watching her on TV, and like just grasping the TV, or kind of like the same kind of spirit of like her hugging me, or like just holding on to that same energy. And I wrote the quote that she stated when she was at the protest, kind of just saying that like just like the words that she said while she was on TV, that I found to be inspiring.
Thank you so much. And everybody, if anybody wants, if there's any of these that you want to send me on Instagram or tag me, and I'm happy to share them, because I feel like some of these people are so inspiring. I would love to share any of these tiny moments for other people that weren't able to make it live. And
I just put it into chat, Nicole's Insta information and her website. I see Lintel next.
Hi, thanks for doing this workshop. Do you mind if I share my screen?
You can do it.
It was just sweet drawing people not being alone. And then I think a big feeling I've just been having is shock all the time. And I don't really, or feel like I can't follow the news a whole lot. So a lot of times I'm just hearing it from people. And so my reaction is happening in front of people. And that's kind of intense. It was really cool to think about what we're doing and what we can be doing, and like who's around us and how we can assist and stuff. So that was cool.
Love these.
And what's that?
Love your stretch goals.
Stretch goals. And I drew Dolores Huerta. Just I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about our borders and stuff, and just it's when people are like so active, and then they're, you know, they can use a megaphone and it's so powerful and stuff, and just being like, you could do it. And I love that you had some links to like Dean Spade's talk and other stuff, so thanks for sharing all that.
Oh, thank you so much. It was really valuable for me to remember that it wasn't humans, it was the state. It's like,
Yeah, that's gonna get in there. Thanks.
Thank you.
I think we've got two more, Eli and Sarah.
Great.
Hi, thank you for this. I drew my family and my husband and my dog to be here with me. Tuesday night I had I've been reading stuff on Rebecca Solnit and Heather Cox Richardson and some other people, Robert Reich, and trying to keep a trying not to let it completely consume my mental health. I'm trans, and I actually fled from Florida because of a lot of violence towards me, and so I don't know. I just I know what can happen. I know what people are capable of. And I live in San Francisco now, but I don't really feel like, I don't know if my state can protect me with the kind of people that are in charge right now. They don't seem to follow any rules. So I saw something on Tuesday night right before I went to sleep. I was stupidly looking at Instagram before I went to sleep, and I was looking actually to see what this class was, and instead I saw that Supermax prison that we were going to disappear people to in El Salvador. And I haven't had a panic attack in probably decades, and I had a full on panic attack, and I could not stop trembling for like 2 hours. I was just curled up in a ball in my bed and trying not to poop my pants. And I just was thinking about, maybe if they only do it to a couple of people, it doesn't matter. Like, those people are never going to be, they're just gonna ruin so many lives with all this shit that they're just like throwing out and trying. And I thought that they were gonna, because I also read that they had gotten into our Social Security, and I was like, they're gonna erase me. They're just gonna erase me. And everything that I've worked for to be a person and to succeed in this world is just going to be erased. And it was just like this white light inside my head and this like cold, icy pit with like lava around it. And I was like, don't let them get to you. And I could not. I calmed my mind down, but I could not calm my body down. And it lasted. And then I was sick all day Wednesday. I couldn't eat. And I haven't felt like that since I was young. And I don't like that it got to me. But I live in a safe place, and I run my own business. I can take the day off. I could sleep. I could eat tiny little bits. I could hug my dog, and get comfort from friends who said that they would protect me. And I can run really fast, but Canadian border is far from here. The people that I admire so many people, all those people that were listed, I was just like almost crying, like looking at all those people who have fought so hard and risked so much to protect us from fascism. And the people that I think about who always had the most to lose, a lot of these people like didn't even have homes. These trans women were fighting so hard for our rights, and throwing shoes and beating up cops with their handbags, and they would get arrested and beat up and go right back out and fight again and I'm scared to do that. I'm afraid to get hurt. I'm afraid to get put in jail. But I want to protest. I want to be like them. And so I'm just trying to be brave, but also I'm old and I don't have that much physical resilience. But anyway, this was so amazing and powerful, and I really appreciate everybody, and especially Nicole for leading this. I really thank you for that.
Thank you, Eli. And you're not alone. We've all got your
Thank you.
back.
Thank you.
You
You're
run
getting-
fast on one distraction.
You're getting a lot of support from your soft friends in the chat, Eli.
Thanks. As soon as I get done shaking, I'll go back and look at them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think Lenta already went. I see just Sarah and Hillary.
Yeah.
Hi, this is my first night. And
Welcome.
I drew it in little segments. Sorry, I have a cartoon over here. And it's my family with one of my children and my dog. This is almost every day me saying, no. One of my wishes is to welcome people in and let them come and eat and feel safe. And then the other one at the top is Martin Luther King speaking at the Washington Monument and the reflection pool. And he's telling me, don't be afraid to take a stand, be strong, and get out there and protest. And I lived through the 60s. I was out protesting a lot then, so I'm not afraid to protest. But it is very scary what can happen. And, you know, being an older woman, old hippie, it's, you know, hard to take. And the stories tonight almost made me lose it. But I will send you the pictures once they're drawn out in ink.
I would love to see them.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, we got Hillary.
Hi.
I
Okay, so I'm unmuted.
Oh, yeah, you're muted again. Just for fun.
All right, hang on. I think I've got to take you off spotlight to give you that prompt again. Do you see that?
Yes.
There we are.
Okay, sorry about that. Can I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I saw Laura Moulton. Hi, Laura Moulton.
You want to see this or not? Sure. There's maybe one or two people left sharing.
Someone's unmuted.
But the teacher or the sharer? A sharer.
I'm sorry, I'm a little slow.
Okay.
Well, so this was me just feeling like the whole world needs some protection right now. And I definitely don't feel like I can even protect the people closest to me right now. But that's my little sort of fantasy of trying to help protect the world from all of the horrors, which have me just completely collapsing and screaming in anger and moaning in
People are sharing that kind of stuff.
distress.
Wow.
And I drew myself with Jane Jacobs, who was a
It will be puberful if you have puberful.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Somebody's talking that we can hear.
Right.
I think it's Lentil. I'm muting Lentil. Okay.
and she was a really strong woman, advocate. She lived in Greenwich Village and was really brought community together. And I feel like she was one of those like little old ladies who would just be like, just suck it up and do it. And if you fake it till you make it, kind of.
I love that drawing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. Jeb, can you come on camera?
Hi, yes.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. So for my first little sketch, it was interesting to think about like all the people in my life that I don't often draw. So I drew a lot of pets and you know, friends and family, people who support me in different ways. And then the news that really freaked me out. I think because it suddenly felt like it would affect me more than a lot of the other things that I don't feel like I can control more, was the like trans passports, like getting people trying to change their gender markers on their identification and those being like taken from them and withheld because the federal stuff going on. And I felt like suddenly it was like everybody was kind of caring about me in a way that normally they don't affect me. And this feeling of like, you know, if I wanted to run, like I don't know if I could. And then I don't know, almost like myself, comforting myself and my trans friends. And then I love this idea of like, you know, our homes, our safety we can bring them with us. So I love this little visual. And And then I was thinking of all the ways that the queer community I'm part of does mutual aid and skill sharing, and the ways that like I, as a disabled person, have kind of had to step back a little bit, and I have to kind of figure out like, what can I do now? How can I stretch myself in a way that doesn't destroy my health? Because I can't fight if I'm, you know, completely incapacitated. So yeah, a lot of it was, it was lovely to see all the ideas people had. It made me feel like, okay, there are things I can still do even with being sick. And then my historical figure is Leslie Feinberg, because Leslie was also disabled, and they're saying, we can do it sick, beaten, and broken. We are not alone. There's time to learn and resist and live as ourselves. And then I wrote a bunch of quotes that other people shared here.
Thank you so much, Jeb. I'm so happy that Leslie Feinberg has made 2 appearances.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Let's try Christian one more time. Christian, are you there?
Look, we're having a
I'm
second.
there. I don't, to be honest, I don't really have anything like in particular I can show, but I might can show like in the PDA if you want. Sorry.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Yeah, that sounds good. I'm gonna go spotlight back to Nicole. I have a question for you, Nicole. So this stirred up a lot for a lot of us. A lot of people made themselves really vulnerable by sharing. What do you recommend people who feel really emotionally overwhelmed right now? I'm sure there are some of us do right after the workshop to. Do you have a recommendation?
Go scroll on Instagram. Just kidding.
Don't scroll. Yeah.
Hold on, someone's unmuted. Who is it?
Oh,
No,
Here.
this is like it.
Hold
My
on.
texts come up on here.
I think that's Hillary.
I was
on-
looking over. Right.
Yeah, I've got her.
Get her.
I got her.
Okay, great. I say after this, I want you to close your laptop or throw your phone across the room and take 3 deep breaths. I'm not kidding you. And if you don't, I'm going to come over there and make you do it. Take 3 deep breaths. And if you need to draw yourself, you know what I would have you do is draw yourself after this workshop. You can draw yourself. I would have you draw yourself going to bed tonight, because I just think that sounds really calming. And just that you've done enough for today, and that you've written some things that you can look at tomorrow or when you're ready, but just take care of yourself today, draw yourself going to bed, see how that feels, and see if you can just not engage with your phone tonight. Even though I really want you to send me your drawings, you could do it tomorrow, whenever. It just doesn't really matter. It's not pressing. I don't care. There's not an expiration date. You could send them to me whenever, or via email or through SAW. Like, it's okay. And I want you to remember, like, you have more to give than you know. And if you have a lot of privilege, this is a great time to just sit with that and meditate on it. Am I white? Do I have, citizenship status? What do I have what do I have? And then just see how it feels in your head. Just think about how it would feel to offer those things, and stretch a little bit, and everything you do is okay. And I am teaching upcoming a queer graphic memoir 1 workshop, and I'm teaching a whole spring semester for advanced graphic memoir. If you are somebody working on a long project and you want to work with me in a little cohort of people, I'll be honest with you, it's a lot of women and queer people and trans people. That's my target group of people that gravitate towards my workshops, whose work I love to support. And that's pretty much it. But please be gentle with yourself. But remember, we're doing this gentleness, so at some point we can plant the seed of intention and let that build our capacity to actually get out in the world and help people. And it's going to be happening more and more in a physical way, not through sharing stuff on Instagram, not through doing those things, but more and more with people you actually know and love, even if it's you phoning them because you can't leave your house. Because I want everyone to be safe, and I want everyone to be well, and I want you to keep going, and I want you to fucking fight.
Thank you for that, Nicole. And I
It's on
put your
their toolkit.
website, I put your website in chat again. People can find out about your upcoming workshops there
Yeah.
on your website.
Yeah.
Awesome.
On my Instagram.
And everybody has the power to unmute. This is when we usually thank the guest artists. Thank you so much, Nicole. This was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Nice to
Thank you,
see your
Nicole.
nice to see your beautiful faces and your beautiful drawings.
Thank you.
Nicole, it was fantastic.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. So nice to see you. Michael, thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thanks everyone for showing up and being so willing for your drawings.
Bye-bye.
Hi.
Good night.